I put all the pictures. That's going to cause these pictures.
All right, so we're live now. We can start a sit.
That's good, man. They're good.
All good?
So yeah. Oh, hey, what's going on? Welcome back. Oh yeah.
Hey folks, so lunch is here. Feel free to go help yourself. And like I said, we're going to start in about 5 minutes. And otherwise, just settle in.
How long is each presentation?
I'll give a bit of an introduction.
So who are you here to see?
Actually, amazing. Yeah.
So in 10 minutes, you guys the applause, maybe another half hour.
And you know, lots of that. Yeah, going back to the stage. We usually finish by 7 p.m. Like sometimes I'm rarely goes cheese. Rarely goes cheese. Really? Oh, yeah. You're very convincing. She's going to sit.
Hey, Brett. How do I know which lunch is?
Like 2 minutes.
Oh, so I should wait rather than meet the table?
Go ahead, meet the tables. I'll give you. Yeah, well, yeah, there's 2 minutes.
Success.
Well, I didn't see the presentation, so I thought you would everything.
Which team are you with?
City Council. He's a good supporter. Why don't we just leave this plugged in? What number are you guys? That's fine. Yeah, I'll call you up.
I'm not worried. You know, the other one I had to
So, now to see, I'm going to give a bit of an intro first and welcome everybody to time making here to get to stand in
So bright.
It's our first experience. Now we know that. You know, and then now I realize
There's the waste of the there's We discussed the strategy with parents.
Hey friends, we're going to get started now. So if I could get your at least partial attention, and definitely when others are speaking, you can disregard what I say a little bit. Just try and maybe have it go in one ear, just a little bit. So yeah, we're going to get started. So if you're going to come join, come on. It's okay, babes are okay. It's fine, it's fine. I don't mind, I don't mind. It's okay, come back. Don't worry about it. Babies are fine, babies are fine. All right, okay, so what we're going to do today, I'm going to just kind of intro a little bit, but then we'll get the groups up presenting the work that they've been working on all week and just a second, all weekend. Yeah, so the audio's coming through? I gather. Okay, cool. So We are live streaming. It's tweeted out the URL, so if anyone, of course, follow along on Twitter. But it's live streaming now, so if you don't want to be seen on camera, just don't go in front. And go to here. What if you're presenting? You have no choice. It's happening no matter what. You can cover your face or something. Welcome and thanks to all the participants. For sure, I mean, it's been a tough weekend, but it's been fun. And before we get into, like I said, the project, I just want to give you a little bit of intro why we're here and why we keep running this event. I'm Brett Tackray. I'm the CTO at Rebel, and Rebel is a domain name registrar and hosting company, and we do amongst hosting and provide domain names for small businesses. We also provide support for a lot of the projects that go through here. Now I'm one of the organizers of this event along with Brandon over here. Brandon works at Canadian Banknote, Ray Riel, and Paul and Ray and colleague Tamimi work at Click. And Paul LaRue is also organizer, and he helps make sure that he's back there and he makes sure the network stays up all weekend. So big thanks to these guys. You know, they're definitely around all the time. So that just big. Okay, so why are we here? Why do we do this? So William Gibson is a well-known sci-fi author and coined this phrase, future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. So what does that mean? That means that we have, fantastic technology, we have fantastic, brilliant minds pushing technology forward, but not everyone has access to that technology. Not everyone has access to the opportunities that it brings. And so the reason why we're here is we're going to play our part in democratizing access to technology. We're going to play our part in helping everyone harness the power of technology, get access to the opportunities that it brings. There's a lot to this aspect. There's a lot to democratizing access to technology. We have to provide access to rural areas for broadband. We have to ensure digital literacy amongst all groups, old and young, and we have to make sure that around the world no one gets left behind or no one gets left behind as we sort of kind of rocket forward into the future. There's a lot of value, and this is why we're here again. There's a lot of value that we can create to enable people to really get the full power of that technology brings. So our little experiment, Random House Continents, like I said, is an experiment in that area. And what we're trying to do, we run a hackathon. What we do is we bring digital expertise and goodwill and good vibes from all the folks that work in the digital and technology sector. And we pair them up with organizations that are doing really great stuff in our community. And we just kind of smash it together and have those digital experts work on problems for those organizations. And in a style where we're building these solutions with the organizations and not just for them. We're not just going off and solving someone else's problem. We're including those folks that are on the front lines that are dealing with issues and trying to push forward a cause. We're working with them directly. And on the other side of the coin, we're providing a venue for people to give back. So one of the things I like most about this event is that we provide an opportunity for those folks with expertise and that goodwill to give back. It's hard to find those opportunities if you're, go to work and go home and go to work and go home, and you kind of work and you live within your silo, and you live within a fairly privileged, life and existence. It's hard to understand the troubles or the challenges that others face. And so this organization really puts together those, brings those problems that we see in the front lines to other sort of the tech folks that are just kind of working day to day. So it's a two-way street of providing opportunities to connect. And to do that, by doing that, we're going to bridge this gap between social enterprises and these organizations that are doing great stuff in our community and the tech community. And we do that by providing a venue. But what I really hope that happens is that we don't need to be in the middle. Random Hacks isn't an ongoing. It's ongoing in that we'll always have events, but we want you to create this. We want this relationship to happen directly. So we provide an opportunity to meet, and we hope that this affinity, this connection, this relationship continues on past this weekend. And so all the organizers of these projects will have reached out to you, will talk to you, and find ways that they can, foster this relationship so that you continue to see the value that you've value from the investment you've put in, but also that you maintain this relationship. And then we'll keep doing this and keep creating those connections and kind of mesh these two worlds together. And I think that's that's the mission that the Hackathon is trying to achieve. We've created some pretty awesome projects over the course of the last couple of years by doing this. Ladies Learning Code job board is still in existence. Phil worked on. Phil's not here today, but he worked on this years ago, and it's still running. We Random Hacks built the Ottawa the Center for Social Enterprise Development directory at weallprofit.ca. If anyone was back at the Makerspace a few years ago, a team worked on an IoT smart beehive. They've since taken this and they're turning this into a business, and this is a good foundation for for agriculture and people just trying to do things right, but use technology to make it more efficient. The Refugee Hub, the Refugee Sponsorship Support Program, LMS was that's a big win. I think from a year ago, Michael worked on that, and it's still up and running today, and helping training lawyers to provide better support for refugee sponsorship. Gourmet Express. This ordering system was conceived here, I think about a year ago, and Gourmet Express, you know them well. You've been eating their food all weekend, and so they started our relationship with them started by them being actually a participant. So now they continue and make us food. And if you don't know Gourmet Express, they're a social enterprise, and they provide jobs and training for those who might have a hard time finding a job. And we've also had another hardware project, Growing Futures. They make these grow towers, these garden towers that there's about 60 of them across the city, but they're in Ottawa community housing complexes, and they're just in a few different, they're just all across the city, but it's it's a grow tower so you can grow lettuces and grow all these vegetables, but this remote monitoring system allows them to know if it's up and running. They can monitor remotely. So that was designed and built and started here. And so this time around, we have some great projects, and we're going to be hearing from Code My Robot, Villa Vanier, Intergenerational Day Ottawa, CompuCore, and SparkPath. And I'll let them go, and they'll be talking about their challenges and the solutions and demo some of the great work that they've worked on all weekend. Before I hand it over to them, I just want a big thank you to our sponsors. Obviously, we couldn't do this without them, and they provide us with, Adobe provides us with the venue, Rebel provides money and ongoing support for the project, and we have Extreme. Paul works at Extreme and provides the networking, Click software, Click branch, Ray and Mimi work there. Internet Society, Canadian Banknote, Brandon works there, 12 Dot Labs, Full Size Solutions, Industrial, and then technical infrastructure provided by AWS. Okay, so that's where it is, and so I'm going to now invite the projects up to give their demos. All right. So while they're getting set up, again, there's refreshments. Help yourself, move around. Each of the presentations is going to be about 5-10 minutes. All right. So what do we got? Okay, so okay, I think you're good to go.
It's a short microphone for a tall person.
Okay, so I thought I'd not start my presentation in a typical fashion. I thought I'd start it off with a joke. So a kid asked his dad what clouds are made of, and his programmer dad said mostly Linux servers. So our very, very random, but still applies to hackathons. So this is our team. I'll just introduce kind of the people we had on our team. This is Daniel. He worked a lot on our infrastructure. Mike as well worked on our infrastructure for our project. This is Tatiana. She helped a lot with the web design and web development. Sal as well helped with our web development for our project. Thought there were more people on the other side. And yeah, so we set out on Friday. We did a presentation about our company, or our organization rather, and what we were looking to do. And I'll just kind of go over, because some of you probably haven't heard of CompuCore before, and we're a social enterprise that provides computer skills, life skills, and consulting to charities and at-risk groups. We do training we train youth, teach them how to code and how to take apart computers. We teach seniors how to better how to use computers sometimes, because not everyone knows how to use a computer, and also how to better protect themselves online. We refurbish computers that we get as donations, and we use those computers as part of our programs to provide to seniors, to provide to youth as part of our program that we do for youth. And we also have a tech store where we provide computer repair services, and also computers to low-income individuals and people with disabilities. So that's basically our 4 programs that we have. As I mentioned, tech reuse is for where we recycle computers and refurbish computers that would normally either go to recycling or to sometimes landfills, because not everyone knows how to properly recycle computers. And then Tech Youth, as I was saying, Tech Seniors is our seniors program, and Tech Mentor. So the problem that we kind of had was we get a lot of donations for computers. In fact, we've been getting so many more donations, it's been hard to keep track of. And we have a website for CompuCore, and we have like a little form that that you can fill out to schedule a pickup. And it's not a very good-looking form. It's a little bit, it's a little bit hard to use, and it doesn't always work. And so we set out to create a computer system and an application that would manage our our donations and our inventory and stuff like that, but also to use it, the base of that application, to provide to other charities who might have similar needs. And because we do a lot of work for other charities, sometimes we can just modify our existing applications and get it set up for them. So we set out to create a user-friendly donation page on our website, maintain some sort of consistency, because I'll show you in a second, I think it's the next slide. That's kind of what our website looks right now. We have a little donate button on the top right that takes you to a form. We wanted it to connect to a database so that we could store the information as opposed to emails. And we wanted it to be confidential and more secure as opposed to the way that it was doing before. And our website wasn't submitting that information securely. And yeah, we wanted to have a smooth process for saving information. So we started out this weekend kind of figuring out what we needed to do. Daniel put together a really nice flowchart of how our system should work for people who are donating computers. And we basically wanted it so that they could submit a donation, schedule a pickup, and we'd go and pick it up. We also created an agenda. We kind of worked on an agenda for this morning, yesterday morning, because today's Sunday. You can tell when you've not had enough coffee. We set up an agenda. We also started basically from scratch. We chose a platform. We organized an environment. We worked on an agenda to sort of delegate tasks as well. We worked on our goals, and we did a half meeting. Okay, we've done a half meeting to we did have to kind of just half an hour meeting. See that? Yeah. Once again, more coffee. And we worked on our final steps, and towards the end, we built this presentation, which I should have spent more time reading. We used some other tools. We used Slack, obviously, because we were all using Slack anyway. We used GitLab to store our repository code, Meteor, which provided a good solid foundation because it already had a database backend sort of built in. Bootstrap really quickly for designing user interfaces that look clean and aren't too crowded. jQuery for visual effects. Material design is a theme we applied on top of Bootstrap. Flow Router and Blaze are part of Meteor for just templating and just different coding stuff that we had to do. And then we used Affinity Designer for our wireframes. We did run into some challenges. Obviously, starting off from scratch took some brainstorming and some sort of discussion about who was going to do what. And so we did have trouble a little bit towards the beginning, kind of delegating tasks to everybody and figuring out who could do what and what skills. And we strived, some of our programmers were able to teach a lot of our non-programmers, people who had more of a UI UX background, how to contribute programming code to our project. So we were able to teach a little bit. We also had a little different, a few different opinions as far as how to implement it. And I think Jay, who's not here, and myself are the only two people that knew Meteor. So as a framework, so showed you what the website before looks like. And we're kind of going to show you what it looks like now. Now, obviously, our main CompuCore's website hasn't really changed, but I will just quickly go to compucore.org. And if you click here now, obviously nothing happens because we haven't published it to our website, but we basically designed this system following our flowchart where, it's pretty direct. It asks, I'm donating money, I'm donating electronics, so that there's no confusion about what people are doing. So if you're donating money, it takes you to our PayPal. If you're donating electronics, it tells you how many items or it asks you how many items you're donating. And if you're less than 10 computers, we try to encourage people, because we have one truck, to come in and bring all their items and everything if it's less than 10 items, and we provide a free pickup service if the donation is more than 10 computers or electronic devices and whatnot. We set out also, this page is kind of not done, but we basically wanted to get all the information about the company or the organization, or whether or not it was an individual, right off the bat. Because before, our previous donation page, which I do have on another slideshow, but it would take too much time to open, it was just a simple form with name, email, and whether or not they wanted a tax receipt. And so we wanted to get that information, make it so that people can put in a lot of the information themselves, that we would probably, make a mistake entering it into our own spreadsheets and computer stuff at CompuCore, and we wanted to be able to manage it. So they basically would go and select whether or not they're personal, if it's a personal donation, or if it's for government or for an organization. And we thought that it's always good to have personal contact information for a person who made, who actually initiated the donation, even if it's on behalf of a company. So we decided, let's have a personal information page that we can tie in later if we build our application into a full CRM, and organization information, and it's kind of cut off bottom. We did complete a lot of tasks. In fact, I'll show you our GitLab has a lot of closed items, and we did a lot of discussions as well about how to continue and develop this platform. We managed to do a bit of a front end for people who were at CompuCore, who volunteer for CompuCore, work for it, and who can process donations. Let's enter my password. Oh, of course. Oh, I know why. Yeah, and so we started out designing the application, and the goal eventually is to have a dashboard that shows donations, calendars, like different things that are going on throughout our entire system, and also a universal search thing so that it's easy to find whatever it is we're looking for, and have it search our entire database. So if I search a person, it should bring up a page containing the information about a person and everything that they've done and what's connected to them, like what they've donated, if they're part of an organization, who they should be a part of, the organization information. That's one of the last slides. Oh, I have 3 more slides. That's right. We found that there's also a lot of benefits to group 4, despite the challenges that we had. There's the ability to get input from people, which we might not necessarily have if it's a single developer working on an application like this. We're able to help each other and coach each other, and we were able to work on group goals and just do other things that were related to implementing this application into our website, but weren't exactly part of building this application. So they took some photos. As you can see, I don't know whose apple that is, but I don't think they ate it. So I'm kind of hungry and I want one. So yeah, that's Mike and Daniel. We'd just like to say thank you once again to everyone who contributed to our project, and we want to say thank you to to Brett and Brandon and Ray and Paul for talking to us and giving us some help and advice. And yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome, good work. You have questions?
No, I just
All
wanted
good?
to.
All right. Good job. Ray, I forget. Who's up next?
Who's up?
Who's up first?
No, you guys get yours. Yours, sorry.
Computer, you have to go again.
Yeah, the fellow
I can make up some more jokes in the meantime.
We can't get you off the stage.
Yeah.
Well, on Friday we couldn't get you on. Now,
Yeah, no, we can't.
What do you have a public URL? Yeah. Can I put on here? Then I can get into the live stream a little bit easier. Is that on your shared drive? So, okay. Do you want to do it? Okay, do you want to?
5 minutes before.
Is it this one here? Oh, it's in number 4? This is the one that
In order to use
okay, yeah.
that's the bridge call. Yeah, do it before you
So I'm going to put this up here. So, and you said that live URL?
Well, she's probably good at expertise.
You want to present this? Like this one
Because they're the same as them.
Yeah, you want
Very cool. So if you, so that's going to go streaming. So here's your thing, and then we'll switch to that. Just to the right. Okay. Mouse. Right. And so you can just switch over there, change tabs, and arrows on this. Okay, cool.
Hey. So our group was working with a community organization called Velo Veni that loans bikes to members of the Veni community. This is their second hackathon, I believe. And in the first hackathon, the goal was to build a website to track their bike loan service and the inventory and status of bikes, who currently has them, and whether those bikes need to be repaired or not when they're returned. A lot of really great work got done in the first hackathon, and our goal for this weekend was to bring the site to a place where we could actually use it as a MVP, getting the smallest number of features working to try and test it over this coming summer. Only one of our group members was actually here in October, so we ended up having a huge learning curve digging up other people's code and figuring out how that worked, which was actually a really cool learning experience for most of us. So these are the members of our team. And these were sort of the features that we identified as being part of our critical flows. So we wanted to be able to add bikes, sign up peoples and family, choose bikes and equipment when we're creating a loan, track where those bikes are going to be while they're on loan, and return bikes after the fact. So this is how we initially split the work. Nathan and Brad, do you want to talk about adding a bike?
Sure. So last time we came up with just a simple form. It was not beautiful, and it's still not necessarily beautiful, but it is functional. You can add a bike to our database. This time we had to go back and relearn the API calls and all the back-end code so that we could implement that functionality for editing bikes as well. Unfortunately, we didn't quite get to the state where we can fully publish that, so it's working for the summer, but it's small tweaks left to do. So as of now, we do have functional adding of bikes to the database for the organization, and hopefully we'll be able to finish that up in the next little while. Do we have is there a way to...
If you mouse off to the right.
This is our demo. Okay. So you take a look at the inventory of bikes. These are all cats at the moment. On bikes. They do have bikes. So you can see a representation of the bike in the inventory. Here I'll go to the edit page. And pray that it works. And here's the current status for that bike with all the information with editable fields. Only thing not working is the most important button, the save button, but the cancel button works great. So that's adding our bikes.
So most of what I spent my weekend doing was getting documentation and helping other members of the team get set up and started with the project. Since most of us weren't here in October, that ended up being a significant challenge for us. So one thing that we've done is we've created a document for any future hackathons or any future people taking over the project that they can follow step by step and hopefully get the project running in under 5 minutes. There was a lot of really good documentation already in the project when we took it over, but it was spread out in many places, and this app is built with technologies that not all of us are familiar in, so it ended up being like an interesting scavenger hunt to try and piece together all the puzzle pieces to figure out how to get this up and working. So I was trying to spread as much information around to the rest of the team as possible for most of the weekend.
So Barris, Dragan, and I, Tina, work together on the loan structure. I can walk you through all the things.
It's another two. You're on this one, you just got to mouse it.
One of the early things we got rid of was there was a barcode scanner here, but that will be reserved for a future implementation, so we removed it for now. And if you go to the loans page, Dragon set up this great page where you can see a listing of all the loans currently in the system, and there's going to be a lot more than this. We haven't hooked it up to the database yet, but this is visual representation of what it will look like. And you can search for a particular bike, and then eventually this search button will take you to a screen where you can see the details for that particular loan. Now in the listings here, you can see when bikes are due, and there's one here that's in red, so all the overdue bikes will be in red, and if you click on the return, you can see some more details about the bike. So if Ella does bring in her bike finally, then you can check out what she's returning and the status of the bike. extra notes, and then you can return it. So return button's not hooked up yet, but that would be for future. And then if you want to loan a brand new bike or another bike to someone else, you can click here and fill in all the details. This used to be a form that was spread across 3 different forms, but we've consolidated it to one. So again, you can search for a particular person, and you can even have multiple people. We used to be able to have multiple bikes, but
Pretty sure you can.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, so if someone wants to borrow a bunch of bikes for their family, they can do that. And if you don't want to borrow it today, but on a future day, you can just select that, and this will automatically go to 4 weeks, because every loan is for 4 weeks. And then you can select the number of helmets, lights, and locks that you want. And choose an image, upload a picture of the rider and the bike. Oh, sorry. And then click submit. The submit takes you to the loan confirmation page, which did not exist before. So now the staff or volunteer at Bellavenia will get this confirmation letters, and the borrower can double check that everything is as it should be, and if not, they can edit, which doesn't work now. But otherwise, we'll assume everything works out well, so we'll hit confirm, and it takes you back to the loan page. And Eris will talk a bit more about the backend.
Yeah, so I was trying to get the backend part to work. Like it was using a get and post request to like a PHP server with MySQL, but the server seems like it's like not like set up correctly, so I couldn't really figure out why it wasn't working. So it's kind of what ended up happening. But we figured out the problem, I think, and then we just figured out the problem, and we're gonna put in the documentation to kind of like the next person doesn't have to struggle with what we struggled with. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a number of challenges when we came into this project. The biggest one was lack of information getting started. It still ended up being a really cool learning experience. I know a lot of the technologies that are used in this project are ones that I've wanted to learn and play with for a really long time. So having the opportunity to see an implementation that was functioning was a really great opportunity to sort of jumpstart my learning into those technologies. So hopefully next time we'll have a faster start when we hit the ground. Probably the biggest thing that held us back was communicating from our front-end application to our back-end server required a set of authentication tokens, which works in our live demo site. However, when we were trying to test things and write code locally, we were unable to correctly pass the tokens from our front-end application to the back-end application, which made it difficult to test things before we pushed it live, which is not something you generally want to do. And these are a few of the things that we'd like to tackle in the future. It was a really fun project, and we had a great time working with Roseanne from Bellavenia. So yeah, thank you for your time.
All right, cool, my robot, you're
I had a guy go to yeah.
But if you change real fast,
bring the robot. Hey Rick. Hey, I clicked it. What? No, it's my name clicked the link.
yeah, they're all talking.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're good. So just this slide has your slides on it, so you can just look at it. I think you're good to go.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I think audio should work. Okay. You alright? Good? Okay, yeah. Hello all. Let's see if yep, it works. So we as a group worked on a, does this sound? Okay, great. I can hear myself, perfect. So we were working on these cute little robots to help educate kids about technological advancements in the general field of robotics and similar electronics. We worked on these in two different aspects. One of them was the interface with the robots, such as the face of it could change. There's Wi-Fi availability and Bluetooth availability. The other part of it was the sensors that are located on the robot itself. And we tried to write some code to give some examples of what could be done with this so that teachers can utilize these as a way of teaching different materials about electronics in general. Well, first, we have a demonstration of the time-of-flight capabilities here. I'm unsure how to start the video. Good luck.
There you go.
Too close.
Hi everybody. So I worked on the time-of-flight sensor. It's essentially like a laser light which goes forward and it times how long it takes to come back, and you can measure the distance. So all I did was really just plug it in and download some libraries and run a few functions that get the distance pretty easily and then print it out to the screen. So it's pretty little, a very simple demonstration. Ideally, well, I just got to go up, but we don't have a video of it actually moving forward and then stopping once it got too close to a wall. But I think we do have a demo of that later on. So yeah. Next. Oh, that's the same video. Okay, we'll just keep watching this video.
You put a lot of work into it, so you gotta watch it at least 20 times.
Next. Oh, this is fun.
Is it a Mac?
Oh, Bluetooth?
Bluetooth.
That, oh no, it's. Oh, okay, wait, we got it. It is Bluetooth. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Oh, I should play the video first. One,
Yep.
two, three. So basically, I'm sending numerical, like I'm pressing either 1, 2, or 3 to change the faces on the robot. Charles and I worked on it together. I started looking at how we could use a phone application to send messages to the robot, and then Charles really helped bridge, take it from that point forward just to be able to implement the faces that the whole team worked on. So this is a totally collaborative effort, and I'm not sure what he's not saying. So I am now ranting. You can watch it again.
That's me? No, that's my robot. Okay.
Ready?
So it does the same thing like the time of flight, which Shasha did, but this is a different implementation. It uses a it releases ultrasonic sound from one of the sensors and receives it on the other side, and based on that, we calculate the distance, how far is the object from the robot. So we had, and it actually has a lot of integration. I integrated Kareem's code, which helps the motor move forward, backward, and I integrated Charles' code and I think Max's code too. Max, okay, which displays the face and changes the face. So I'll try a live demo right now, and demo gods help me.
First it's calibrating. Wait for it to calibrate. It's trying to move. It's gonna get scared.
Oh, don't touch me. Okay, so that's it.
One more time.
Was that cool?
Who's next? Great demo. It doesn't matter. The switch. Just skip it. It's the one that we showed right now.
Okay.
Emotions.
Yay. All right. Hi, I'm Joey. I spent the weekend messing around with robots and making faces. The display module itself was written by Jamie, but they're not here right now, so I'll show you what it did. Each one of the faces is its own function. It clears the screen, prints the new face, and then displays the face. It's completely modular, so you can use it anywhere else with any other code to display the face. And here's an example of a few. So I made a robot feel this weekend.
Beautiful. It's green screen. I don't know. You're gonna look at
Watch it again.
Motions that can through the button on the screen.
Got a lovely face. No, it's not true. Can you help give us something we can? It's full screen. We only have one more slide. No, it'll work fine.
Ready?
Hi everyone, so I worked on the Wi-Fi aspect of the robot to be able to control it remotely. I guess you don't see the interface through here.
The video is wrong. You don't have a video. Go.
Okay, so basically it's a HTML page that you can load from your phone, and the robot creates a hotspot that you can connect to. That way you don't need any other infrastructure, so you don't need servers, you don't need any specific hardware. And you connect to it, you remote to the IP, and then you get an interface with buttons. So I guess you might be going to get it. And then once we had the basics working, I started working on the WebSocket aspect to be able to refresh, to do different actions without having to refresh the page, and have bidirectional communication between between the phone and the robot. So the goal is to try to be able to control it, say go forward, turn left, turn right, control the different sensors, see the different values on the phone remotely. But we didn't get all the way there this weekend.
Yeah, and I'll just finalize everything. So we were able to complete these parts. There was other things that we wanted to do. For example, control the robot remotely using the Wi-Fi to go through a maze, use it over-the-air updates to not use a USB to program the robot instead of using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to program the robot. We couldn't get to those things. We could also
couldn't get the IR remote to control the robot using infrared, but we did some progress. There was a lot of people working on the same code because this thing runs on the robot, and each change affects everything. So we decided for some reason to use a full-fledged Git without any branching strategies. And then, as you can see here, we have a bunch of people committing code, breaking each other's code. It was a free-for-all. It was beautiful. I was so traumatized by the experience. But it worked at the end. We have a working final version that is capable of the things that we talked about. There's also smaller versions of branches that people created for just the time of flight, just the Bluetooth, or just other things, so that they could be used as additional examples. We're kind of lacking in the documentation because we're all developers and we didn't really have anyone who was capable of properly creating documentation. But README is pretty good. I mean, if you're good at reading. Yeah, the integration was somehow successful. Well, thank you for listening.
Can you tie that back into, so as I understand it, these robots are used in the classroom to teach robotics to high school students. What is the work, like, why did you do the work that you did? How does that tie it back into the overall mission of the robots?
So initially the goal was to have some examples that directly could be given to kids, but due to the length of the time that we had to develop these things, instead we created some firmware that can be given to teachers who are more capable than the children who will be working about this subject, and they can use this code to set up challenges to children about the students about what they would like to achieve through the course that they want. We're just trying to create a proof of concept for them to be able to see, okay, this target, this robot that we have here has these capabilities. What can we do to create lectures? That's the kind of thing that we try to provide. Hopefully, it would be useful. Yeah, sure.
For example, my sensor, not my sensor, but the sensor which I used, the ultrasound one. So I had just a simple algorithm that whenever the distance is 5 millimeter or 5 centimeter or something, the robot should go back. So the teacher can set an assignment, oh, instead of 5, make it 20. So he will have to go, and the kid has to go and figure it out that which part they need to change. That can be a small assignment.
So you could turn like the module that you wrote into like an RG block kind of thing. So it's easy to program afterwards now that you've written that.
Yes. So most of our codes, everyone has written it in their own files, and it's modular. It's quite modular. Yeah. Any more questions?
You can throw the site up, carl7.com.
Yeah.
Just throw that up. Maybe they can just see all the projects. If you, I don't know, does the internet browser?
We can move it over to that screen.
I think it's up there. Yes, you can see it. So why?
It's the actual website. Yeah, so you just mentioned.
Oh yeah, to the actual website. Okay.
Yeah. So eventually all their software will go on the back of the site.
Oh yeah, that's
so
great.
Just click enter at the side there. Enter.
Yeah.
So if you look at the projects, they're all labeled with the projects that they did today.
Well, we didn't develop this website, so
It'll be up there, like
each example would be under the related part. Can't believe you don't have the video. Alrighty. Yeah. Okay, it's me. So if I can get this on to, I have a document. Did you?
Yeah. What do you have? What kind of connections do you have?
Well, I have all sorts of connections, but if I put it on to here,
Okay.
I can live stream it.
I have it as PowerPoint. Is that can Slack it, or I can put it
Sure.
directly.
Why don't you just do the Google Drive?
Yeah. Okay. Same job. So we don't. Yeah. Okay, so I'll give you the I will get the link for it, which is this one. The link that I sent to that video already. There you go. And
Well, actually, we'll just hear it.
Okay, and just switching between this is just
So we just have to switch to Chrome.
okay, perfect. Awesome. Alright.
Hello, hello. Can everyone hear me? Yeah? Thumbs up? All can hear me? Awesome. All right. Thank you all for supporting us. I just want to give a quick thank to everyone who organized this event, and as everyone was saying, just a quick thank you again to everyone who organized the event. It is great. It is definitely a different kind of hackathon where, yes, we all meet up, designers, developers, project managers, we all meet up and create a project out of a challenge, but this one is a bit different because we're eventually helping a nonprofit or helping an organization to step up to their feet, and I really like that twist for this hackathon. So we joined an organization today, or like this weekend, iGen Ottawa, and we're going to give you a quick overview of what iGen Ottawa is, what we did, and how we tried to help them out with the projects that they want. And hopefully the things that we worked on this weekend is going to be used live on June 1st, or even like before June 1st, where the actual event is going to be hosted. So that by itself is exciting to know that what we worked on over a span of 24 hours, even less, is going to be used in real life. So I will slides. Yeah.
Okay, so we were part of a group for Intergenerational Day. Intergenerational, or iGen Ottawa, celebrates the value of connections between generations. Intergenerational Day itself takes place across 100 and more cities across Canada. And this is the first year officially that Ottawa will be playing International Generational Day, or Intergenerational Day, sorry, and that will be taking place on June 1st. The goal of Intergenerational Day is to increase the connections, bring awareness to the positive value of relationships between the people of different ages. It encourages organizations and community groups and residents to participate in intergenerational activities and to promote the value of taking small actions to bridge generations year-round. So this year for our project, we mainly wanted to get an events portal running. iGen Ottawa already has a website,
And we wanted to create the aspect of it where organizations can upload their event for June 1st or year-round that promotes intergenerational activities. And it'll just enable the public to see when those activities are happening and where they're happening, and it will inspire Ottawa citizens to reach out and connect with people of different ages. Our vision for our design portal was to create an event portal for posting the events and for the public to be able to view them. We used Intergenerational Day Ottawa as the pilot, but we plan on trying to make this as scalable as possible so that we could share our platform for organizing intergenerational activities throughout cities all across Canada. And we wanted to create a seamless integration for this project specifically between Weebly and Netlify, which we use Netlify for the events portal, and Weebly is the platform that the website iGen Ottawa is already on. We also wanted to provide a user-friendly experience and bilingual access to the event information and planning. So I'm going to hand it back because I've not seen the slide yet.
So as Ashley has mentioned, iGen Ottawa came with their website, and we decided we wanted to create an events portal. And that events portal, we wanted to make it kind of like generic. First of all, we put it towards like iGen Ottawa, and we customized it so that you can access it through iGen Ottawa. But behind the scenes, the events portal is the heart of all the events that anyone could come to this portal and upload the events that they want, and it could be populated in a database, and people could be able to check it out. So just to give you a quick overview of. So this is the iGen Ottawa website that they had set up, where it kind of like a good start for anyone who checks their website. There's like a home and about section on their website. What we really cared about is the events section. So over here, when you click the events section, this is where we came and helped them put together that events portal. So when they click on the events, they can go to the events portal, and Ty will go ahead and give us a demo on the events portal. What does the demo say? Just click.
Yeah, okay, so going from the iGen website, we'll take us over to the event portal. There are two pages. One is to create an event, the other is to list them. Image upload isn't quite working yet, but I do want to thank Ray for spending a ton of time thinking his head against the wall trying to make it work.
And this website is live on Netlify, that people could go ahead and access this form. So this is a form that we are putting a list of input requirements.
Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm not really narrating. So yeah, so we have a bunch of required fields. Just information about the event. We're not necessarily rendering every field we get right now, but we're trying to collect as much as it is relevant. And then posting the event, we'll submit to a Netlify function. So Netlify is sort of a lightweight CDN and static site builder, and so with a very quick setup, we're able to just git push, and they'll automatically deploy our site. And they have something called Netlify Functions, which is a wrapper for AWS Lambda. So when we submit this, this is going to Netlify and then actually to a Lambda function. And now that that's submitted, we can scroll down and we can see our event here. That's about all there is to it. We used a couple of simple templates to help us get started. Pure CSS Bootstrap. It was important to have responsive design. Yeah, and our images are obviously kind of faked, but it works. Yes. Yes. So, do you want to talk about future plans?
So now that you've seen our demo, there was quite a few features that we wanted to include, but just unfortunately due to timing, could not yet completed. But in the future, we do want to be able to search the listings with robust search features such as search by location, search by date, or maybe even search by organization that's hosting the event. We want to be able to let the organizer of the event post their own picture or logo. So in our demo, we just use stock photos, but eventually we do want to have that uploading capability. We want to include some social media integration, some event tags, the option to add it to your personal calendar. We also have some additional admin features on the back end that we like to just make more simple for the organizers of Intergenerational Day Ottawa, such as updating the content and removing or revising, and including things like Google Maps integration and archive the events. And so before we introduce the team, I did just want to thank Christine, who was our liaison between Intergenerational Day Ottawa and our team, and she has been fabulous and a really big help for us. And there's just a fun picture of our team. We had a lot of fun this weekend.
Yep. And so Christine on the left is Ashley, sorry. Is a designer and helped us a lot coming up with wireframes and some of the stock images in branding logos that we needed, and helped out with getting our forms up to date. Tamini helped on the front and back end, as did I. We're both all over the stack. Mado was really helpful with updating the HTML as well and providing the template for the event listing page. And Jared helped with our presentation, and Mado and Jared both kind of joined us late last night, and we're still able to make a really helpful contribution to us. And I think that's super awesome. So yeah, thank you.
Do you have any questions? Oh, there's a question there. No? Okay. Oh, yes. Quick announcement. We have swag over there. There's water bottles, there's fanny packs, and I believe there are a couple of bags that are left. It's a first come, first serve. They're pretty cool. They're limited edition. They're like very nice, like orange and bright and everything. Cool. So yeah, make sure that you get a water bottle. You can put your snacks in the water bottle as well. This is a limited edition feature. So if you want to know more, come ask me. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Maybe I'll have to get
Yeah, so the
Daniel and I are
pick up the black one. Just pay attention. Time to jump.
Obviously, JP.
You know, he's not allowed up.
Oh, he's not allowed up.
That's live stream, but okay. So we have this. Sure, just not be live. So that's fine. You might as well just do that. Okay, it'd probably easier for you to do. Right? I'll just keep it so that's a little visual. No, it's probably be easier just Okay. Just whenever you just need.
So hey everyone, this weekend we had the pleasure of working on SparkPath, and we managed to do a lot of great things in a short amount of time, and we'll just show you what our progress is this weekend. So the initial mission was to create a program through the use of cards to help high school students figure out what they want to do after school, and some of the topics included redesigning the healthcare system, ending extreme poverty, and improving mental health. And these were just a few of multiple possible skill sets that a student can kind of delve into and explore through this program. And our challenge was to take a physical deck of cards and create a digital experience out of it that can also feed into future courseware and potential development in the future. So that being said, I would love if all of you could take the opportunity to quickly go to this URL and take our a development experience for a try, and give us some quick feedback at the end. That'll be really helpful for JP's future ambitions and overall a good measure of our success.
So we'll leave this up just for a couple seconds so everyone can log in and take a look at our prototype. We'll give maybe 10 seconds or more. Maybe give me a thumbs up if you guys are on there and you've found your way there.
Is anybody having trouble getting on it?
Awesome, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. All right, I'll jump to the next screen, but we'll share that again at the end. So who are we designing for? So JP actually had a typical user. So Anna right here, she's a high school student. She's 16 years old. She doesn't know what she's going to be doing after high school. It makes her anxious. There's so many choices out there. And she doesn't like the idea of being locked into one thing. So this idea of not knowing what to do and trying to figure out how do I frame this problem, we looked at it, or JP framed it in the sense of looking at it from the perspective of challenges and helping them identify what they can do with their future. So the typical user journey for the user of this product, it could be either a high school student or a parent that recommends to their child that this is a product that they'd like them to go and check out more. So the parent hears about the challenge cards, they go to the site to find out a little more. Next, that's where they're granted the opportunity to do the challenge sort, or the challenge card sort. And the first step of the challenge card sort is to look at all 29 challenges and then filter or sort them into 3 different groups. So the first group is I'm very interested in this. The second group is I'm somewhat interested, and the last group is I'm not interested at all. So after they've completed their first sort of all the challenges, they then revisit their very interested pile. From there, they're trying to narrow it down to their top 3 challenges. Through that, they can look at the details on the back of their card. They'll find out more about the background of the challenge, possible career paths that they can take, as well as the future of that work. So that's how they can help to reflect and consider that in their future decision making. And through this prototype, once they've selected their top 3 challenges, they're next prompted to a summary page. And after that, there's a call to action to then continue with more of JP's coursework and whatnot to get more coaching and development on that.
So after JP had briefed us about how this is going to work, we came together as a team and decided that how we are going to proceed with developing this further, and we divided into a dev team and a design team, and we discussed everything because we did not want the dev team to wait for us to provide the designs so that they can start working on the framework while we design the actual product. So when it came to the design team, we started like, this is the information architecture of how the cards product works. And first you go to the landing page. The landing page has the purpose, the instructions, the action button has to go to the next step, which is the card sorting page, which is the first time sorting and dividing them into 3 piles. So there could be for certain scenarios, once you have got to your most interested file, it could be either more than 10 cards. In that case, it will loop you back to the first screen again. If you have less than 10 cards, that's great. And if those cards in your most interested file are 3 or less, it will take you directly to the final confirmation page. But otherwise, from the second page, you go and pick top 3 cards from what you had selected. That particular screen will contain the card stack, the placeholders for the top 3 cards, and the next action button. And once you're on the confirm page, you go ahead and see the result summary, and there's a call to action to go ahead and see the courses that JP provides for his students. So while we were designing the screens, we went through a brainstorming process. You can see the screen on the left is a lot of ideas is thrown all together, and we decided on having certain screens. We had a landing page that, if you can see on the right, the first screen on top is the landing page that had the purpose, the instructions, and the action button. Oh, sorry, what happened there? And then the second screen was a design with basic cards in the center and 3 emoticons explaining the 3 options that you had. Then the next screen, we decided to have the third screen a little different. In the second step, we wanted it to be a little different from the first step, because at this point, when you have your most interested file, you would have the option to get into the details of each card and make a decision as to what your top 3 picks would be. So we had to incorporate the details page, and so we designed that, and the final summary would have your top 3 lists. And in the end, you can either go ahead and do this again, or take the course and check out the courses that JP has to offer. Moving forward was the high fidelity prototype that we did.
So in terms of process, we chose to do low fidelity prototypes by hand, by sketching on paper, as you saw. And then next step to that for high fidelity prototypes, we kind of merged 2 different steps in a common UX to UI design process, where it was a prototype, but it was also kind of a polished UI design. So we were doing this iteratively as we were also coding due to time constraints of an event like this. So here is kind of the visual version, the prototype version that we were working from for our code. So we have that welcome screen. We click to get started. Here, this is the look for the second page. If you're trying on the site, you'll see it looks very similar to this. We didn't do any fancy interactions here in terms of the cards or anything, again, in part due to time constraints. There's the option to undo your last action, and just choosing which file to sort into. From there, you get some encouragement that you're doing great, and now we've got to filter down a little bit further. And then here, we can get some more, we have our stack of our very interested cards. We can get more information on them, information opportunities and whatnot. We can go through this stack and actually select some of these cards. We can remove them from various slots if we're second guessing some of our choices, or find ones that we like better as we go along. And then once we have all 3, we can confirm to a final step where you get kind of an overview of where you selected, more encouragement, and kind of next steps.
So after that, the final design was given to development. It was more of an iterative process. We went back and forth with the development team to actually go ahead and develop this. And this is what the final version of what has been developed looks like. I would invite Matt or anyone else from that team to come and present this.
Okay, so this is the main page. I didn't prepare for this, so. Okay, so main page, brief introduction, some, I guess, instructions on what to do. If you want to get started, so you click. And there's your stack of cards. You can see you're at 1 of 29. You can switch between French and English if you like. And then you start picking. Kind of interested, great. I'm really interested in that, and so on. Add a whole bunch into my yes pile. And like we mentioned before, if you have too many yeses, we make you go back through it. So now, you see I only have 21 now. I'm just going to pick like 4 or 5 that I really like, and then we'll be able to demo the top 3. And if we're really not sure about the last pick, we can just undo it, keep going. So I clicked too fast. But anyway, now we get to select our top 3. So we implemented it's this really a similar deck, just with some different properties where we can loop through like a carousel. It will just kind of infinite loop through. We can check out the details on the card. So that gives us a description, kind of some information on opportunities for that path. And then if I'm really interested in this one, I want it in my top 3, so I'm going to add it down here. Maybe 2. If I'm not sure, if I want to swap this one out, I can just click on it again and it pulls it back into the deck. We can stop at 2. I mean, if you pick just 1 and you're really happy with it, you can just hit confirm. I'll add 3 and then confirm, confetti. And there you go. From here, you hit let's do it, goes over to the course page, and we have a link for feedback. And that's pretty much it. It's we were lucky enough that we didn't have to do any back-end coding whatsoever. So the code's all in GitHub. It's hosted on Netlify, and it's just the basic React app. It was a lot of fun to work on, and it's also responsive.
So I would request everyone to go to the feedback link and provide us a little bit of feedback on this. That would be helpful, and that's it. Thank you all.
Quick question. So this is based on a real set of cards, right? Can you get a real set of cards? What did you get like a physical deck of cards?
The physical deck of cards is actually available on JP's Shopify website. So he has a Shopify store where you can actually buy the cards.
That's awesome. I mean, how much more work, or what's left to bring to the finish line?
We have some edge cases we have to worry about. Little things like if you went through your first pass and you only have 3, we can just like they mentioned in the design, just skip you right to the end. Maybe better support for internationalization for languages, and really just tweaking it, refactoring, make the code a bit easier to read.
So these were the next steps, like we discussed with JP what we wanted to do. So he would want to have 100 users, conduct testing and gather as much feedback as possible and build team. And for the version 2, you want to have the sharing capability to share this with other people, improve the readability. We had some challenges as to how we're going to design when, especially on the second part of the screen, when we have to select a top 3. There's some discussions as to how to present that, so we might change the design for that. Then the English and French is somewhat included, but then we still would want to put it everywhere else. And the Get Started button, and other few things that I think JP must have in his mind to
Yeah, that's it.
Any more questions?
Thank you. Let's get out. All right, folks. Well, that's a wrap. Congratulations on another great Random Acts of Kindness. We'll be back in October, same place. I will confirm dates online, but definitely follow along on Twitter, sign up for the newsletter, check out rhok.ca. I'm going to be posting a link to a survey that, again, you're all mandated, you've already agreed to fill this out when you signed up. You have to fill out the survey. And make sure you take a duck and some of Tamimi's swag. And yeah, I guess that's it for the year. So thanks again for joining, and have a great summer.